Well, first of all, I will make a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of GameWorld.gr, people from YouTube that are listening that, and Ubisoft fans, I'm here with Aymar Azaizia. He's one of the developers of Assassin's Creed Revelations, when we're here to make some questions to him and grab any possible juicy informations about the next part of the series that's about to come. Nice to have you here, Aymar.
Hi, glad to be here.
So, another part of Assassin's Creed, and from what I heard, this is the last part of Ezio's story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the final chapter of Ezio's story and the crossroad of a lot of different things. Crossroads for characters. It's you're gonna see and you're gonna understand how Ezio, Altair, and Desmond are all really linked together. At the same time, it's I would say geographical crossroad because of the situation of the city itself, where Constantinople is just in the middle of Middle East and at the same time Western civilization. So there's gonna be a lot of things going on.
So all three of them are actually connected. You know, people were doing these questions. I mean, you go from Altair, you suddenly find a guy in the future that goes back and gets in and becomes Ezio himself, and then yeah, it's something in the DNA. I mean, Animus doesn't work by itself, putting random memories.
Exactly. So you're gonna see that, of course, Altair and Ezio and Desmond are all linked together. You're gonna understand how, because people are always asking connection about the fact that Altair and Ezio may or may not be part of like the same ancestors, the same family,
in the same genealogy tree, like some great grandfather and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Yeah, you're gonna understand exactly what the link are, but at the same time, you're also gonna have a better understanding of first civilization. So with Juno and everyone, so which is mainly the link with Desmond in the future. So you're also gonna see that. In fact, you know that in Assassin's Creed game we always like to play with fans, especially at the end, having like a huge cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
In that episode, yeah, you can expect a cliffhanger, but we didn't want to end it up with what I would call the Lost series symptom, where you raise a lot of questions, but
yeah,
ultimately
I was pulling my hair after the ending of Brotherhood. I was like, no, please don't end this. I was thinking like, I'm gonna kick my PC. Something is wrong. It's stuck here. I mean, you raised a lot of questions with this cliffhanger, and especially with fans like me that are addicted to this game, and they, no, don't stop here, please don't.
Well, that's also something we are really aiming for, because we know that it's cool and it's kind of a signature in the series. I mean, people are expecting that. If we had just a normal ending, people would be like, well, blah.
Yeah, we gamers are a little bit masochist, you know, like, give me a cliffhanger so I can wait the next 5 years for the next part of the game.
That's exactly it, but we know that through the course of the whole game, we raise a lot of questions, and not only about what happened to Lucy and why did Desmond do that, and what will happen to Desmond next, but we also have questions about the link between Ezio, between Altair, how his life ended up, because as you know, we cannot really show the end of an assassin through a game. Like if we want to show that he gets older and gets kids, because
the life of an assassin, from what I know, is unpredictable. No. Especially the part when he decides to retire, and as I saw in the trailer of Embers, which was quite touching.
Exactly. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you're gonna see with Embers, but it's one of the way we solve that. Basically, to put it in a nutshell and trying to be as short as possible, when an assassin's got a kid, like a child, whether it's a boy or girl, his DNA memory goes from his to his child. So you cannot see through the animus what happens to Ezio as soon as he's got kids.
Interesting.
You know, so that's why we cannot play. We cannot say that the assassin's got kids, and at the same time, showing him playing in the game through the animus. We have to find another way. So a cool way was to use the comic books or the books, and now Embers, which is an animated short that's going to tell you what happens to
Ezio after all.
Ezio Exactly, after all the story, so a couple of years after
Oh,
it
so
happened.
Embers is after Revelations.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and it has been clear from the beginning that it happens a bit after.
Mm. So
Ezio is way older. You can tell
yeah,
by
yeah,
its
yeah. But
just straight up is.
when Embers trailers came out, we haven't seen some actual footage of Revelations. So people heard that Ezio is going to be older, so they thought that the thing that Ezio says in the Embers actually made him go for that last search in Revelations. But
There's a
then,
connection. No, yeah.
so now, this is more of a classic question. It comes from the chief editor from our side, Manos.
Mhm.
It's about the gameplay time. How much, in average, the players are gonna spend time the whole game on. I mean, gaming-wise, the whole story. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be medium because, from what you said, considering this is the ending of Ezio's story, I
Yeah,
suppose, and plus we have Altair
yeah,
gameplay. It's gonna be
exactly.
quite big.
It's gonna be big, but I think it's gonna be comparable to what you've seen in other Assassin's Creed. I would say that lengthwise, probably AC1 was mainly the shortest, and then with AC2 and Brotherhood, depending on if you're just focusing on the main story or playing, like side mission, you can play up to something around. It's still gonna be around 20 hours if you're focusing just on the main story, but it
So
could be like,
it's gonna have side missions like in Brotherhood,
oh yeah, oh
where
yeah, yeah,
we're
but
meeting Leonardo da Vinci and all this.
Exactly, you're gonna have side mission. Thing that has changed is the way we did side mission and the way we are introducing them. So you'll notice that there's a lot of more, I would say, cinematic twist to every single mission we are giving. So it won't be only having a cinematic before the mission and at the end. You're gonna have element that's gonna twist and change during the course of the mission, like
So
things exploding and
these
stuff.
side missions are going to work alongside the story of the game. It's not
Yeah,
gonna be like it was in Brotherhood. Most of those missions were separated. I mean, personally, I first finished the game and then I started
and
doing
then
the
you move on. Yeah.
Leonardo's chain quests, which
Okay,
was
yeah.
totally irrelevant.
Well, you're gonna have a mix, but I think that the way they work right now are a bit stronger, and I think we put more emphasis on them, so they are more meaningful to characters. At the same time, you're gonna find a gameplay that was really close to what we have in Brotherhood with the tower assassination mission that you've got. So here we've got what we call the den defense, and it works a bit like Brotherhood, but it has been like upgraded in every single way possible. So the assassination are a bit more tricky. At the same time, you have a whole thing to deal with. Like you can basically handle those dens once they belong to the assassin. You can put someone in it in order to take care of what is happening around the
So the
surrounding. And
Brotherhood of the Assassin still exists in
oh
Revelation.
yeah, 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 yeah. The Brotherhood still exists. Yeah. In fact, there's gonna be like um, also an upgraded system for the Brotherhood itself, because the character is going to have more personality. So the assassins that you've got, one of the feedback we've got from fans was like, oh, I really wanted to have an assassin that has like more story to it, and I want to know who he is, and not
I
like
know
having
I
a
want to
random
know the
character.
story of the XYZ
Exactly.
assassin.
Exactly, and I want to be able to customize them, like to have my own, costume and attitude and everything, and it's something you're gonna be able to do in that game. So, of course, you can, you're not forced to play with the Brotherhood, or you're not forced to
Yeah.
get deep into that system. But if you choose to, you're gonna see that it's way more rewarding, and I think the way it works is a bit more fluid. So, I mean, ultimately, it's one of the strongest Assassin's Creed we've got so far. And story-wise, it's probably the best we've seen up till now.
So I also saw some new weapons in the game.
Yeah.
Triple wire bombs, putting bombs in the corpses.
Yeah.
Was it hard to switch to put this kind of bombs? Because I realized that it's not the simple I throw a bomb like in most, for example, in FPS games, that you just throw a bomb. Here the assassin actually implants a bomb in a corpse, and
Yeah.
to tell you the truth, I haven't seen that thing in lots of games that someone is actually going to trap a bomb. I remember games that you were putting a corpse in front of something to hide it, but it was the artificial intelligence of those games that wasn't that big. But now
Yeah.
we're actually putting bombs in the corpse.
Well, that's one of the thing, one of the new features in the game, because there's like a lot of them. One of the new features is the new bomb crafting system. So basically what we did is we took the bomb system as it exists, so with the smoke bomb and everything, we changed a lot of elements, allowing you to throw the weapons, to to hide them in corpse, to just throw them at your feet. So there's a different way of using the bomb themselves, but there's also a whole way of crafting them. So you're gonna learn through the game how to craft your bomb. And thing is that in order to craft this bomb, you're gonna be able to combine different elements. Let's say you're gonna use something some kind of dust that do like a lot of smoke, and something that is really heavy, and then you can use something else that's gonna add, I would say, little mace
the amount of ingredients and make the bomb that you wish with
exactly
lots of damage or more smoke.
There's like there's going to be hundreds of combination, and you're going to be able to use a lot of different tricks. So some bombs going to length a lot, some bombs going to be super wide, some bombs, so you're going to have like really tons of things. Some of them is going to look like firecrackers, some others going to have a special effect, like it could be whether poison or damage or whatever. And in order to be able to create this bomb, you're going to have to find whether it's recipes, or you're going to be able also to find all the ingredients you need. And those ingredients are all around the world in Constantinople. So it's a good way of saying thank you to explorer. So players that like to go everywhere, they're gonna find like some super element.
People who want to actually see the game in its whole, instead of just going straight forward to the end.
Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna be rewarded by like some super rare element that they're gonna be able to use to have their own customized, super bomb, and they're going to be able to talk with their friends like, oh, I found that super rare lotus that allows me to create those kind of bombs. And there's going to be some element of gameplay that allows you to play with resources and things in order to manage that, and then to create your own bomb system. But it's one of the new like big features and big change of Revelation.
There's quite some changes in the game. I mean, I've seen some footage from Gamescom. I've been in the beta also, thanks to you guys. I'm in the. You've given quite some time in this game, yet the game comes, if I'm not wrong, it's 1 year after Revelation of Brotherhood, right?
Yeah, it's just 1 year after.
How did you manage that? There are companies that are making sequels or series, and it takes them years to make a sequel. And so far, you guys, from what I've seen, you have raised above Brotherhood in almost a year. Was that planned, the Revelation? I mean, we all know that some games have an original plan. I mean, they're saying we're making this game, it's going to take 10 more games in the series, and we're going to release it then. Was Revelations an inspiration, or considering the cliffhanger you already had that part in your head when Brotherhood finished?
That's a really good question. In fact, it's a bit of a mix. Story-wise, we have a whole team that I'm working with, which is called Assassin's Creed Brand Team. And our main focus, we're not only working on one game, we are working on everything that touches Assassin's Creed background universe. So whether it's working on an encyclopedia, on comic books, on series. So story-wise, we know exactly where we want to be in a couple of years. We know exactly what's going to happen, what kind of assassins you're going to play. We already know that. We still have a lot of elements we can play with. What we did with Revelation is that we have a super strong feedback from the community about Ezio, about wanting to know exactly how it's going to hand, and we know exactly what we want to do with Desmond. So we're like, okay, we will be able to create another episode because we have lots of the story and elements in our hands. So what we did.
So you're listening the people. That's
a lot. Yeah, we're listening and paying a lot of attention, and that's why we are tweaking and changing a lot of things. That's why the combat system has evolved the way it has evolved. That's why we added some new features like the hook blade and tripwire and everything in order to make the navigation even more fluid.
Sorry for